Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Okay, today's video we're going to be talking about installing the small bunk window. We've got double bunk beds in the back, so this is to be able to allow the girls to have a look out of a window when they woke up in the morning and see where we were. It was really nice because whether we were parked up by the beach or in mountains or just misty fields in France, just wherever we've been, they love getting up in the morning and just having a quick look out the window, see what the weather's like, see what it's like where we're parked up. So it's worked out really well. So this video is about the whole process from installing it on the outside of the van, cutting the hole, sealing it, and getting the whole thing on there. So if this is interesting to you, you might want to check out the previous video I put on, which was about installing a opening window with a fly screen on the driver's side of the van. The two go hand in hand on the different processes, which are really similar for fitting any kind of window to the van. So I'd recommend watching the one that is going to be linked at the end of this video, as well as this one, to get a really rounded picture, a full view of how to install side windows to the van. If this is helpful, then please give me a like. If you get anything from this video, it really helps the channel and the growth that we're hoping to get. If you're interested in the van conversion and the van maintenance on the Mercedes Sprinter in particular, then subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way you'll get notified every time we release a video and you can have a watch and see what you think. So here's the video of the process of installing that small bunk window. This is where the upper top window will go for the girls' bunk. So I'm just having to remove all of the sound deadening that I put in there and the acoustic foam. So that's the first job. We're about ready to measure up on the outside and make sure that we're putting it in the right place. It's a little bit tricky because there's this lip here which actually has got quite a recess behind it, so obviously I don't want the glass to be all the way down there and it not be much use as a window inside because of how far down it is inside that. So I want it pretty much level with this, but it's going to give me quite a small window. Also, I don't mind cutting into these braces slightly that are on the side of the van, just the flat part that's against the van. There's a slight angle in the van here, and I'm not going to be going anywhere near above that. I'm going to be going up to the bottom of it. So the most I'm going to take off is about 30 mil of this bit here, possibly the same the other side. And I think what I'll do is I'll measure the exact middle between the two, put a pilot hole out, so on the outside of the van I can see where the center of where I'm going to be cutting out is. Okay, Jodie's just come in and we've had a discussion and we think we're going to actually try and make the hole a little bit bigger on the inside of the van to make more use of the actual window itself. So I drilled this pilot hole here which was in the center of these two struts here, but I think we're going to take just a little nibble out of this strut here and try and make the space a little bit longer, because the window itself on the outside probably comes from here to about here, and we were only going to be using that small space of it. So we're going to try I'm going to attempt to see what my jigsawing skills are like and try and make the hole a little bit bigger on the inside so we've got more light coming in from that window. Got a center hole and then drilled myself a pilot hole. We extended it a little bit towards the back and I've gone round with the jigsaw. I've just got this little corner left here, but there's a strut on the inside here. So to save the jigsaw, the end of the blade fouling against the strut on the inside, I've just given myself a bit of space by getting a spare 12mm piece of ply and putting that on the bottom of the jigsaw, and that gives just enough clearance then without the end of the blade smacking against the strut inside. So it seems to be working so far, and like I say, I've just got that little corner to do there. You can see the angles are quite tight in the corners for the jigsaw. Now originally you can see some holes in the corners, and I was originally going to use a hole cutter on a drill, but it made a bit of a mess. So even though it was a bit of a struggle, the jigsaw was definitely the best way to go for these angles. It's just held on now by the sealant on that inner strut just there. So if I pull it, there we go, we are free. We have a hole for our upper window. I just need to take a little bit of this strut out so it's not obscuring the window, and we're about done. Right now I'm just taking the burrs off the edges and neatening them up. The hole is all cut, filed, smoothed off, no burrs on it, just cleaned it up with some alcohol, and so we're ready for just some rust proof paint on these edges. And I've just taped off around here because this is where the black primer is going to go, the sort of rubberized primer to accept the bonding adhesive to stick the window to the side of the van. And I'm going to go all the way over these white bits just so you can't see them from the outside. So all of this I'm going to sort of black in with the primer that I've got. Just cleaning down the window before I put the bonding adhesive on it. I've got it sat on a towel so it's a nice soft surface. Give it a good clean. Right, we're ready for some of this stuff now. There's a primer to go around this opaque edge, and we'll do the same on the side of the van. The masking tape is just inside the size of the window, so I wanted to go as far as I could, but so then you couldn't see it when the window was actually bonded to the van. So that's all done. The masking tape was a great idea because it meant I got really neat lines in line with the size of the priming that I wanted. And when you're applying the primer, the idea is to get no white showing through, so the whole lot wants to be blacked out. And the reason I've gone for this shape is I didn't want the white of the shell of the van at the end of the windows glaring through when the sun shone on the window, and it worked an absolute treat. It was a really good idea and worked well. And the way I'm going to bond the small window in is similar to what I did to this small window as well. This has actually got a frame out the back, so you cut the hole and it sits into it, so it kind of holds itself in place. The one over there isn't going to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put enough of a bead around it just to hold it in place so it sets, and then I'll come back the next day and I will fill in the gap here. What's that, Martha? What?
I found the other window.
Oh, you found the other window? Where is it?
It's right here.
It is right there, isn't it?
I know
It's just this paint that I've just put on here, that's just got to dry. And as soon as it is, we can put it in.
Open that window.
No, not at the minute. Not at the minute, because I've got so much stuff in the way.
But I want to when there's taxi and cuddles.
Oh, go on, I'll have cuddles.
You have a wet top.
Oh no, I've got a bit of a drinking problem. I've spilt water all down myself. When applying the bonding agent, the adhesive, it's really important to get a nice thick bead and quite an even bead as well, so it doesn't squeeze out in any places you don't want to. So it's really worth taking your time and getting it just right, exactly how you want it. And the window's on, that's it. The black bonding adhesive is really strong, it just sticks it to the van instantly.
There he is! Give us a smile! Yeah, looks good.
Because there's nothing holding the window in place other than the bonding adhesive and a bit of masking tape for now, just to hold it in place while it sets. I don't want to slam one of the doors and the air pressure pop the window off the body of the van. So I've just cracked open the sky lights just to mean that there's no build-up of air pressure when the doors are shut and all the air can rush out of there. There we are, then we're on. So all I need to do now is seal around these little gaps here tomorrow when it's all the bonding adhesive has gone off, so when it's set. So next day, after our small bunk window install, and it looks great. It looks good on the outside as well. So along the top here you can see how wavy the line is that's been left with the adhesive as it's bonded the window to the actual van itself. So what I'm going to be attempting to do today is to put a line of the bond in this gap here so it ends up smooth and pretty level with the actual top of the window. But any rain or water that comes down isn't going to collect in this space here. It's going to just run straight off either over the back if we're driving or down over the window if we're stationary. So okay, this is what I'm going to need to seal around that small window. I've got the actual sealant, the stuff that I use to bond on the window. That's what I'm going to use to seal it around the edge. I've got some alcohol, which seems to be the only sort of thing that cleans it off. So if I get any excess that squeezes out as I'm trying to smooth it around the edges, that's what I'll be cleaning it up with. Some gloves, some pretty heavy duty gloves. I've got some heavy duty wipes as well, which is an absolute necessity. I definitely need those. Also over here I've got a nozzle, because the one that was used to fit the actual windows got this big V in it and it squeezes out loads and loads of sealant, which is what you want when you're sticking it on, but you want it a bit more precise when we're just going to be sealing around the edge. So I've got a new one of them, which I'll cut just the very end off, so it's very much more controllable. You want the sealant to sit just proud of the surface slightly so you can smooth it flat and there's no dips in it. So the next part of the process is getting that cleaned up. This doesn't react in the same way that bathroom sealant or silicone sealant and things like that does. It reacts more like a glue, so it's quite difficult to work with. But the next part of the process is to actually neaten that up. I tried a few things, but I needed a really sharp point, so I just cut a takeaway container lid to a nice sharp point, and that seemed to work well. Okay, but that looks like it smoothed it off okay, but obviously it's left all that along the side of the van, which I now need to clean off. Okay, so I've done the first pass over, and as you can see it's left a mess on the actual body of the van, which is what I'm attempting to clean up now. It's really pretty difficult stuff to work with. But I've also got a bin bag now right here, because I'm using quite a lot of the wipes to clean it up. And just as a pointer, the alcohol spray, which is fantastic, gets this stuff off straight away, but rather than spray it over the window, because then you're going to be taking off things that you don't want to take off, the sealant that you've just put on, it's best just to spray a tiny bit onto a cloth like that, and then use that just to clean up bits where you've got sealant that you don't want it, like that. Time consuming and a bit heavy on the old cloths and that, but you can already see how much more solid that looks. That's it all sealed in then. So you can see where the light's shining off that's giving it a nice solidity. So it was already waterproof, but that's going to really help get the rain to run off it, and also make it slightly more aerodynamic, but more importantly it is going to make it a lot more solid, so if it does catch any branches or anything on this edge, it's going to be bonded to the van so well that it is just part of the van now. So I'm happy with that. Just got to neaten it up a little bit, so I'm going to wait for the adhesive to dry, the bonding agent, and then I'll neaten it up around the edges, and that's it done. One lovely bunk side window, and that looks lovely on the side of the van up there. Video was part of a series of videos that we filmed when we were converting the van in 2022, but we lost the hard drive, or thought that we'd lost all the footage off the hard drive that we filmed throughout the process of converting the van into a camper van, and now we've actually found it. So we've got quite a few videos to bring. Really excited, because like I say, we thought that they were all lost, and we've actually found them and been able to retrieve them. So that's great news. So there's going to be plenty more videos like this coming up of our van conversion. So if it sounds really good, something that you're interested in, then subscribe and we'll look forward to sharing those with you. And also, now that the window's been in for a couple of years, it has worked absolutely fantastically. We had a bit of a near miss where we hit a branch on a tree, or a very large cut off branch in a tree right next to the window, but luckily the window stayed fast, which is brilliant, because that would have ended our trip early. That was while we were in France that happened. This is what it looks like now, 2.5 years down the line. And so yeah, all still going strong. So I can testify that it's worked really well, and it's held solid and just been an absolutely great window. And this is what it looks like on the inside as well. Not sure I've got a lot of footage of doing the inside of it, but if I've got any, I'll make a little video of that as well. So stay tuned and we'll bring that to you soon. But for now, if you want to see the video of us installing the window with the fly screen in the driver's side, then just click here and you can have a look at that one and get some tips off that one as well. And we'll catch you in a new video really soon. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Bye guys.